Those dark moments, those are the moments you find yourself.
Nobody will do it for you. Trying to tell these cats, but I let them do their thing. If you ain't innovating, you'll regurgitating. Don't make me expose you to them folks that don't know you. You gotta do you, cause nobody will do it for you. Trying to tell these cats, but I let them do their thing. If you ain't innovating.
What is going on, my friends? Welcome to Knowledge to Live By. I am Rogelio Diaz, and today the topic of discussion is going to be the darkest moments. I'm going to share with you one of the darkest moments I've ever gone through and all the epiphanies, all the life lessons that came along with it. All right, so without further ado, let's get it. As you all know, I used to be a personal trainer. So one of the darkest moments that I went through, that I experienced, was actually 4 months ago in February. Not too long ago, guys. It was the first week of February. So throughout this whole last year of 2019, I was working my ass off to be an owner, right, of a personal training studio. So at the time, I thought that was my purpose. I thought that was everything to me, right? And it was. Because of that, I was able to make $5,000 a month. I was able to buy the dream car that I always wanted since I was 20, man. 6 years in the making. Nobody knows how hard I worked to get the car that I'm in now, to get the life that I wanted. And I worked my ass off for the whole year of 2019. I went in, I put in the furniture. I brought in the furniture to the studio. I brought in the equipment. Like, I was there since day one, since we opened. And I put in so much work, so much effort. I was battling my health at the time, and I still am. Most people don't know. My eyes felt tired, but I was still trying to be the best trainer. I was still trying to be the best possible me that I could be at the time. As you know, in my other videos as well, I didn't get along with my partner, my business partner, and we had a lot of conflict, and that caused a lot of stress on me as well. So, on top of waking up at 3 a.m. every day, on top of having to train 10 plus people a day, like, I was just drained, man, but I refused to give in. I refused to quit, because that was my purpose. That was my dream, to be an owner. And I always state, dream big. I wanted several studios, right? Maybe one day to have a franchise. And that was my foundation. I went to school. I failed the first time to be a trainer, and I put in all this work for a year, guys. The nights, again, I would come home just drained, just tired, stressed, and I would have, some incredible breakdowns. I would be doubting myself. It was just so many things that happened in this last year that it made me grow so much, but at the same time, it caused me so much pain. And I went through all this, right? There was weekends where I didn't even know how I was going to go back to the studio because I was so broken. I had to fake it, man. Like, there was a point where I had to train clients and I felt like just shit. I felt so unhappy, just so pissed off at where I was at and how life was going. But I kept going. And what happened was that, I was taking mental abuse, and again, me and my partner weren't getting along once we were nearing the end of the year of 2019. And I woke up one day, just drained. I was shaking, guys. Like, I woke up in my bed, eyes were heavy, my body was just hot, like heated up, and I was just shaking. And I was coming down with something. I was sick. And no, it wasn't coronavirus. But I ended up getting sick, and I had to take the day off. Like, I had to take the day off. I couldn't go back. Like, there was just no way I was going to make it. I was driving an hour a day, every day, to the studio, because it was an hour drive to get there. So, again, all this stress just adding up, right? And I woke up that day, and I called in and I told my business partner, like, I can't come in, man. I just can't. I even teared up because I felt like I was letting them down. When you make a commitment to someone, that you're always gonna be there, that you're gonna give everything, because it was just me and him, you know. You followed through on it. But again, I was just at the point where I couldn't go anymore, dude. Like, no matter how hard I pushed, I felt like I had a 500-pound gorilla on my back. I just couldn't go anymore. And that day, I was anxious, I was scared, and for a long time, I was in the back of my mind, I was thinking, like, is this really what I want to do for the rest of my life? Because I didn't own that studio, and I wasn't working, you know, like, I was working to be an owner, but the studio owned me. It owned me, guys. I was a slave to the studio. And that's one of the reasons I'm also grateful that I left. But at the time, I felt like I had no choice. Like, I wanted to keep going as much as there were days where I didn't want to go, where I didn't want to get up. It was my dream. I really thought I had to suffer through all of that to get through where I wanted to be as an owner. But that wasn't the case. I found out after this whole experience happened. But I woke up that day and I couldn't do it. I told my business partner I was never going back. And yeah, things didn't end too well, as you can imagine, because of that. But once that happened, I mean, I was literally like shaking when we were talking on the phone, and I was telling them that I wasn't going to go back. I couldn't, like, just saying it, like seeing your dream just come crashing down as you're speaking. You can't describe that feeling, man. And for the next 3 weeks after I called it quits, I felt so lost, man. I didn't want to see my parents. I just wanted to be alone. I started drinking again. I was just drifting again. And I remembered, it reminded me when I was 22 again, and I went through this before. This was the second time going around, and I'm like, what the fuck, you know? Here I am, 26, and I'm going through the same shit I was going through at 22. And these negative emotions, this trauma that I thought I released started coming back from when I was 22. So here I go again, facing the same shit that I had to face 4 years ago. And it was just so degrading. It put me in a deep depression where I honestly just thought, you know what? I'll just live a mediocre life. I don't want to be an influencer anymore. I don't want to do anything with my life. I tried. I'm done. And that was my mindset for 3 weeks. And little by little, I started recovering. I started getting my health back. And I realized why everything happened, why everything unfolded the way it did. And at the time, I stopped being an influencer because my business partner told me I talk too much. And I really looked up to this guy, you know. So when your mentor tells you this, you're like, okay, maybe I do. I started to believe his opinion. And I stopped posting. I stopped making videos for a certain time. But once I realized, like, those were just his thoughts. Like this is what I love. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what brings life to me. Showing others the way, being the light in the world, giving people hope. Because I've been through this shit. Because I've been there. I'm living proof that you can go from nothing to making your life meaningful. And that's why I had to go through all that shit. I had to go through all those breakdowns. I had to lose pieces of myself and then find them again. Because that was one of the hardest things, guys. Being at that studio, I was reaching for success while trying not to lose myself, who I was. And that was just so challenging. But I discovered so much about me, my willpower, my ability to just keep going, take the pain and keep going, because I didn't know a lot of the shit that I know now. And I just knew deep down, like when I would talk with myself, that I just had to keep going. I knew that I would make it out. I didn't know how, but I knew that I would make it out. But all of those judgments, people that were judging me, people that were telling me I wasn't good enough, There's people that have told me that I was fucked, that I would never do anything with my life. All of that drove me to where I am today. All of that pain drove me to where I am today. I found out, again, I discovered pieces of myself that I didn't even know were there. And it was all because I went through that painful experience. I went through that traumatizing experience. And that was just one of my darkest moments. Like those 3 weeks, you wouldn't even recognize me. I was just so depressed, so down. I didn't want to do anything with my life. I really gave up. But I had to reignite that fire, the real me, the true me, not the ego version of me. I had to get my faith back. I had to believe in myself again, because I lost so much belief. This last year of 2019, I lost so much belief in myself. And I had to build a new foundation. But the old one had to be broken down in order for that to happen. So there you have it, guys. I hope this helps you with whatever you're going through and gives you the knowing that you will make it out. I know at the time it could feel like it's forever. Like you look to your left, you look to your right, and you can't see a way out. But I promise you, at the right time, no matter how much it hurts, you're going to figure it out. Your soul's going to take you in a certain direction. You're going to have epiphanies, ideas, realizations, and it's all going to come together just like a puzzle, man. Much love, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my content, subscribe, show some love, comment, likes, and I would really want to know what's one of your darkest moments? What's something that you thought you could never make it out of, but you did? Comment below. Much love. And one more thing, I just released my new free audiobook, Fighting in the Dark. It is now available on Gumroad. I will leave it in the description box below. Check it out. Just type in $0 and it's yours, man. It's free. It's my gift to you to help you with whatever you're going through. You can use it as a foundation to get recentered, to get realigned with your higher self, that version of yourself that you know can do anything. Till next time, as always, life was meant to be enjoyed.